welcome to the Masterclass. A little bit about my professional background. I'm working as a machine learning engineer in Siri understanding with Apple. So I work primarily on personalization features for Siri and mostly in NLP, natural language processing areas. And prior to that, I worked with SAP as a software engineer, 1 year in Germany and 2 years in the US. That more or less sums up my professional background. Coming to academia, I have done my undergrad in IIT Kharagpur with computer science as my majors, with BTech as my degree. And then I have done my master's at CMU from LTI, that is Language Technologies Institute, with Intelligent Information Systems as a specialization. So that's about my academic and professional background. And personally, I am very interested in machine learning, especially NLP, and my hobbies include reading books, badminton, traveling, singing to some extent, and I'm trying to pick up new skills. Definitely, I think for anyone to pursue a career in ML, the path or whatever is like, you need to be really passionate about it. Don't do it just because it's a buzzword. Do it because you believe in it and you are really interested in it. And another thing is, having a CS degree might be a tad bit advantage, but that doesn't stop anyone from other backgrounds to pursue a career. I have a lot of friends who are from different departments like civil or electrical or mechanical, doing really good. Like they don't, really good. Especially the field of computer vision. People from electrical background, they understand it a tad bit better because they understand the signal processing side of things, even for speech recognition. So a lot of my peers are not from CS background, so some of them are from electric background. And actually I have one of the org directors, he has done a PhD in physics. So you never know. At least when I was doing my undergrad at Kharagpur, ML was slowly booming and not as big a thing as it is today. So I joined like a normal software engineer position at SAP. So I was primarily working on the database layer, writing some scripts which make the processing easier and quicker and more focused on the performance side of things. But luckily I got a chance to work on an interesting project called automatic text clustering. So in Switzerland, there is an aeroplane company where they have this cockpit and they have recorded so over the course of the flight, people record certain messages in that cockpit. So, and they were like, okay, now we have this data, now we want to see if this data can be used to find out anything interesting. So my manager thought, okay, they did not seem that it would be an interesting project. They said, okay, you know what, like just do it as a side project and see if we can find anything interesting. So we were given like a dump of text messages, like all sorts of messages, and I was asked to like sort of cluster those and like try to find something interesting. If you think about it, it's a very sort of straightforward problem, but when I started, I have no idea. And then when I was looking at like how to do it, reading online, talking to other data scientists, and I had ideas, and there were very interesting things, like although some are very silly, where the coffee machine is broken, and the captain is like yelling, or like some messages like that. And there were some other messages like, this N1 vibration is increasing. There was this. So these messages were important because they wanted to identify at what time those messages came in and so they can track the location from which sensor the message was recorded. So to see around what sensors there is a fault. So it's like backtracking, that using this information to track which part of the aeroplane or which sensor is a failure, or they want to replace it, because replacing when it's already broken would cost a lot than actually servicing it like through a maintenance. And so that cost they wanted to avoid. And I didn't know that such a small project could have that big an impact. And I started developing interest, and then I moved to Silicon Valley. So There are a couple of places here around where they would have like general talks, like Hacker Dojo is a place where random techies will meet and like from different companies will meet and talk about certain problems, and that's how I developed interest. And like, yeah. I don't think so. One thing, it just first requires us passion in that field. You don't really need to be from a CS background to get into ML. At least it's one of the fields of computer science which is accessible to other departments. If you take operating systems or architecture, you really need to understand the basics of computer systems very well. Whereas machine learning, if you want to get started on, or like you want to just get your hands dirty with the playing around the data and stuff, you really don't need to have a CS background. But having a background will help for very few specific roles where they require performance optimization. If you're writing like a computer processor level code, like optimizing how much time will these things take to train, so that few specific. I think AI ML. So let's put into bucketize, or like put in one big umbrella. For me, AI or artificial intelligence as opposed to natural intelligence. So we as humans or other living organisms like even chimpanzees or some other animals do show some intelligence that is actually natural, inbuilt, which we get attained by birth or by learning. But for humans, and we are artificially inducing that intelligence, so that's why the term artificial intelligence. So when machines show this intelligence, then artificially, or like they demonstrate the intelligence, then that is artificial intelligence as per my definition. So it's like if your robot is smart, or if your chair is smart enough to actually like predict when you are going to sit so that it can make it comfortable, and so that itself is like intelligence, where the machine is showing some intelligence. So that's a very big bucket, and that intelligence need not be learned through only machine learning. It can be learned through memorization or stuff like that, whereas machine learning is something where you are learning a particular skill by looking at patterns in the data. So that is ML. So ML is a subset of AI, or rather ML is used to achieve artificial intelligence, sort of. So AI, and then you have ML. And deep learning is when machine learning is applied to a big data and also using neural networks, which is NN. So neural networks are essentially, they are some function generators, like you have a mod X function or you have a tan H function. Similarly, neural networks are some function generators. We don't know what that function is, but it's a very complicated function. So that neural network is, if you use such neural network which are mimicking our brain models, then we say that, and it's applied to big data, then we say that we are using deep learning. And the other one is natural language processing. This is more focusing on a particular modality of data, where the modality is not images but rather text or speech. Like you're typing something and you expect the machine to understand your text, or else you're saying something to your iPhone or like whatever, and the machine is understanding what you're speaking, and it recognizes, like speech recognition, natural language understanding, or like it generates a response. Hey, sorry, I can't help you with that, like, or your destination is in 2 minutes. Like, so all these things are natural language. They fall under the bucket of natural language processing. So to summarize, you have AI, ML, NLP is also a subset of ML, and then DL is a broad term. It can be applied to NLP or it can be applied to ML. So let's take a voice assistant like Siri. So what happens when you interact with Siri? You say, hey Siri, call mom. So what Siri needs to understand is you are giving some waveform, like you are saying something, like it's an audio. Siri needs to first convert that to a text, call mom. So that itself is what it's recognizing, the speech. It's recognizing what you said, call mom. So speech recognition, and speech recognition is part of a natural language processing task. And for that task, in earlier days they used to write some algorithms are is a story of why you want to pursue your masters. And another thing is cgpa is also important. I wouldn't say it's everything, but for masters it's a little bit more important than for phd students. And when we are talking about top universities, because they get a lot of applications, and so what do they perceive of cgpa is cgpa is one factor that shows your ability to take up things and successfully finish it and do it well. So that's how they envision cgpa as. They don't say that, yeah, if you don't get good cgpa it doesn't mean you're like gone or anything. It's just that, like, it's one credibility that adds to your hat. So that's sort of important in some areas, especially when people from different universities are applying. They do try to normalize cgpas, but still having a decent number is advantageous. But above all, statement of purpose is very important. Like, you have to write a coherent story of what you're achieving, and like what you're aiming to learn at that university, and what you're going to contribute by that, and what have you done in the past. Like, build up a good story, and like show that you have actually genuinely interested in that. Yeah. And letter of recommendations, they call it LOR. So having a strong LOR from the professors. So again, a small tip here is usually an LOR from academia is much more valued than an LOR from your company, because of the reasons. It's very obvious, because then we are applying to a university which is in academia, so the professors know these professors, so that's how they'll understand. Okay, yeah. To be honest, I was not super organized about going this, so it was a little challenging, because you have a full-time job, you have some responsibilities and accountabilities. But I think if you want it, you will make time. So for at least for masters, you need to write GRE and TOEFL, and I am not someone who's comfortable in English since when I was a kid. So I would focus a little bit more on English, because it's more like a memorization task. So I would take at least 1 to 2 hours every day. For a month I did that. I would install some GRE based apps like Magoosh or something, and I would try to, whenever I have time, I would just read those sort of I was inclining towards a specialization, which was what CMU was providing exactly. So I went for it. So it's subjective, and if you are looking for a broader CS masters, then you can weigh in your options and take finances into picture. But if you are looking for a very specific field and you are actually getting in, then I think like you might want to consider that. Definitely graduating from a top university is a bit advantageous. It opens avenues maybe a little bit more, but in the US it's slightly different to India. Companies don't come to you, you go to the companies and apply. So at the end of the day, it all depends on you. So a lot of work has to be done by you, whereas in IIT is like, yeah, companies will come one day, take tests, and like it's sort of like a normalized opportunity. Yeah, if you're from IIT, you know that these companies will come, and if you have this GPA, you will definitely get to take the test, and if you clear the test, you will go for the interview. CS or the department which offers these courses, it's a little easier. You can choose that as electives. But if you are from other degrees where these courses are not readily available or not offered by your department, I would recommend go take those courses. Like, put in little extra effort, take it as an additional course. Clear than I was at my BTech, because I worked and I saw different projects and could understand my own interests a little better because I gave it so I can understand their caution. It's a very beautiful campus. Like inside we have a lot of fruit trees, apple trees, and we have peaches, we have cherry trees, and we have some flowers which blossom like different parts of the year, and we have a small pond inside, and there's a rainbow stage where beer bash or like concerts happen, and it's very green, like, and we do have bicycles because it's a big campus, and if you want to go from one, so we call each, so it's essentially like a ring, right? Like if you break that ring, it's like in the shape of a pie, right? So we call that sector, and we have like 9 different sectors, and to go from one to the other from the outer side of the ring, then we use bicycles. And yeah, there are so many interesting things, like we have a gym, football, volleyball playground, basketball playground. Yeah, it's a world in itself. I feel it's very interesting, and the culture is also pretty open, so everything is glass, so it's not like you can see the other people also, so it's more like an open working environment. And people are very smart, and they're friendly, and I haven't seen people working beyond 7. So yeah, at least at Apple I haven't seen people like working beyond certain time, so maybe at least not in my org. Yeah, so there is good decent work-life balance. So we have certain coffee machines operated by iPads, so yeah, so you just select a button on the iPad and then you'll get a coffee, or like you can select how much coffee you want. I go to the gym, which is also inside, and gym has a lot of classes, like they have yoga, they have pilates, they have kickboxing, like a lot of classes which are for free. Gym you have to pay like a very nominal amount, so I go to the gym and I take these classes, and yeah, and sometimes the team, when they are free, will just go and play like football. I'm not good at it, but I most usually do cycling, so I just go, and like there are a lot of walking trails, so if you are too sleepy in the afternoon, I just go down and then like walk. Yeah, it's nice that way. There's a lot of culture difference between Europe and US. Like in Europe, the attitude itself is slightly different. Maybe it's changing. Europe, in Germany, they want to release a perfect product. Like they will check all corner cases, like whether this will work in this scenario, that scenario. Like they'll spend a lot of time, but whatever the end product is, it's like solid and stable, like fault free to some extent. Like they'll think of all such cases. So a lot of time goes in planning. They take a lot of time to release a product. So that is the attitude there, at least in terms of building the product. In Silicon Valley, it's slightly different. It's like fail quickly, unlearn things, relearn and rebuild. So it's like it's growing like quick. It's fast culture. I mean, like you're releasing something, it's broken, okay fine, let's just unlearn and learn from the mistakes and like redo it in a better way. So the attitude is a little different. Like yeah, so they probably might not think about all possible failure scenarios, but want to get something quick in the market and like see how it is impacting it. So that's the attitude I felt different. So another thing is like people are straightforward in Germany. They don't sugarcoat stuff. Like if let's say your presentation is bad, they'll say yeah, I think it's not, you can do better or something like that. Like they'll be probably direct, and there's no small talk. In the US, I like it. I think like they sugarcoat it, so sometimes it's difficult to gauge whether they actually really like the presentation, or they could we might have to rework it all. So that is something I felt slightly different. And there is small talk, so you ask. So when I moved here, when random people are asking me how are you and how was your day, and I'm like, I don't even know you. Why are you asking me all this? And then I started getting adjusted to doing that small talk, and might have a hard restriction. We can't do anything about it, but for places where we don't have that restrictions, the only way you can have that advantage is like showing you're genuinely interested. That I would never cheat in any exam, despite if I wouldn't mind getting a zero. But at the end of the day, you're paying, and if you're cheating on you. and not on anybody else. The professor won't get anything like, yeah, whatever, like this girl cheated, she got good marks, but she doesn't know the stuff, and someday or the other that will come out. So it is so tempting because everybody, you want to get the stuff done, and like, but be true to your values. And if you get caught in the US, it's a very, very bad remark on your profile, and the implications are severe. Go for soft skills. Anyone, be you're a techie or you're a software engineer, soft skills will definitely help. There is no harm in learning them. You should always be able to communicate clearly what you want to say. You think that this architecture is wrong? Tell it. Like, don't be that. You should be able to present your results, present your opinions. Soft skills are very important, especially in my team. Writing good technical documents is very important, which I'm sort of struggling with, because in computer science we don't really write a lot of reports. Everything is a code you submit online and then you're like, yeah, I'm done. But writing good documentation is very, very important, especially in an organization when there are a lot of people involved and a lot of people working on the same code base. Nobody can read your mind. Nobody can read what that function means if you don't write a documentation. So and like timely communication, soft skills are very important. Like, one thing that I noticed, and I am trying to pick it up, like these were not told to us neither in undergrad nor in masters. Like, nobody would tell you that these are important, but they play a big role in your career growth. First, I would like to thank IB Hubs for this opportunity and congratulate them on this effort. It's a good initiative, because I feel that if I had some direction, maybe things would have been a little different today. And the journey is interesting and beautiful from here, and glad that you are in touch with IB Hubs and hearing their perspective to navigate through your own journey. Yeah, and thanks IB Hubs for this initiative.